Is the S23 Ultra worth it? After having bought it, having been using this phone for just about 2 weeks now, I got mine on February the 13th, is when it showed up at my house. And yes, I think that it's worth it. Now, if you've got an S22 Ultra, I still think on the reasonable side. I think that probably not a good year over year upgrade. I mean, there are benefits there. It's just really hard to say, okay, trade in your 1199 phone from last year and get your 500-600 bucks from Samsung, less than half of what you paid for it a year later. Not a whole lot of extra benefits there. Now, the benefits for me are that it's got a much better battery life. It runs cooler. This thing hasn't warmed up on me really at all. And if you care about 8K video, you've got the 30 frames per second there now. I think the speakers are improved. I think that the haptics with the vibration mode are a little bit better. And the camera, in certain instances, is a little bit better as well, mostly low light. So overall, looking at it from a generational upgrade, if you've got like a year over year trade-in program, if you just don't care, money is no object, and you just want to get the latest and greatest every year like some of us like to, then yeah, I think that there's a meaningful list of things here that you'll enjoy. If you have anything older than the S22 Ultra, I think there's a lot of big upgrades here. And even with the S21 Ultra, if you're happy with it and battery life is good for you and you like what's going on with it, you can certainly hang on to it. It's not going to hurt you to hold on to it for another year. That one still has, I believe, another year of software updates on it. So it's still a very good phone. This whole model that Samsung has with the whole 4 years operating system updates, 5 years of security patches with, I believe, the last 2 years of phones, yeah, it's pretty darn good. And Samsung is seemingly the best in the Android world when it comes to updates here for the last year or so, even doing more better. I got fumbled with words there. It's doing better than Google is, and it's been more reliable, and they've been really good with their software and optimization. That was a big Achilles heel for them for years. It's like, hey, we've got this fancy new expensive phone, and then basically a year and a half later, seemingly like never saw updates again. So they've done a really good job the last couple of years. They're the best in the Android world as far as I'm concerned when it comes to reliability and software updates now. OneUI 5.1 is really good. Probably the best iteration it's ever been. If you like OneUI, you're going to love this phone. It's really, really nice. It's smooth. It's fast. It's got the Samsung version of the Snapdragon 8 Generation 2 in here that's actually clocked a little bit higher, which, for whatever that's worth, I don't really think it's probably worth. You probably can't notice it that much. I don't think worth is a good word, but it's clocked at 3.36 gigahertz on the maximum core. That's pretty crazy that you have a phone in your pocket, 3.36 gigahertz. Now, you can use light mode that throttles it down a little bit. I just made a video about that. It has great battery life. The Snapdragon 8 Generation 2, the 5,000 milliamp battery. There's so much to like here from a day-to-day performance perspective, and Samsung's done a really good job there. And I didn't want to believe a lot of this stuff from the get-go when they're like, oh, the Snapdragon 8 Generation 2, it's so amazing. It's going to get this much better optimization, this much better battery life, this much better on cooling. I expected it to be a little bit better because they're always a little bit better. But this has been a lot better. So, especially if you're into gaming, if you like to play games, if you like to shoot 8K video, if anyone does that, I don't know how many people are. Show of hands, let me know in the comments if you're shooting 8K video. But they added 8K video 30 frames per second instead of just 24 frames per second. The cameras are seemingly a little bit better, especially when it comes to low light photography, nighttime stuff, all the nightography features that they added. Battery life, huge. It's still, I think, got the best looking screen in the industry. Ultrasonic fingerprint scanner. The new 12 megapixel selfie camera is pretty good. I think it takes pretty good photos. I haven't compared it enough to say if it's better or how much better it is than the 40 megapixel we had with the S22 Ultra, but it's very good. I know I have complaints out there because it's not a different, even more better one than what we have with the S23 and the S23 Plus. Last year, we had the 40 megapixel in the S22 Ultra, and it was really, really, really good. Like the best selfie camera of all last year, in my opinion. But the ones in the S22 and the Plus was the lower quality one. It wasn't the same. Now they're all on the same page. I'm sure they did that to save money. Maybe that allowed them to keep the cost lower whenever it comes to the S23 Ultra. In the US, still $11.99, but it comes with the baseline 256 storage now instead of 128. So really excited about that. And I think they still have some sale things going on. If you didn't get in on the pre-order action, that's okay. Samsung will offer sales all throughout the year. They're very, very good at that. So 256 gigabytes internal storage for the S23 Ultra. I got the free storage upgrade, which gave me the 512. So this is the largest amount of storage I've ever had in a Samsung phone, and I'm not gonna have to worry about it. Like, I have to worry a little bit when it comes to my iPhone because I record all my videos and I record all my videos for my channel on there. It's all 4K videos, 60 frames per second. It takes up a lot of storage as I record all these videos. But even with that, with 512, I pretty much never have to delete a whole lot of anything. So I don't really record a lot of videos on here. So 512 should be perfectly good for a very, very, very long time. And it's going to be very hard convincing for people to upgrade this one next year. They've done such a good job with this one. So I was not happy with the battery life on the S22 Ultra. It just did not last as long as I needed it to, especially in the beginning. There was a lot of throttling stuff going on, and they got in trouble for that, of course. So this one, they've made a lot of changes, and there's a lot less throttling across the board. I think there's more transparency. I think there's more confidence in the software and their approach to managing things. I think the battery life, 5,000 milliamps, top notch. And this really is the phone that I think a lot of people expected last year, but it's even better this year. So it's going to be really hard once we come around to next year and the S24 Ultra comes out and it's like, this one's pretty darn good. It's something that's going to be really hard to say you should go out and upgrade. This one, you'll be able to hold on to this sucker for 4 or 5 years, and it's going to last you, and it's going to perform well. And one of the reasons that they can assure that, and this is also a frustrating point because it tops out at 45 watt charging, and even getting 45 watt charging is hard because the way it does the adaptive charging stuff. So it's still fairly slow when it comes to charging, but one thing you get out of the slower charging is it should maintain the overall health of your battery for a longer period of time. So if you're okay with just charging it once a day at nighttime, which I think is what most people do anyway, then you should have no issues with it. And 45 watt charging, if you get a 45 watt charge, if you have a supported cable that allows for those speeds, then you should be fine. And also get a good case for it. Now, this is not a plug for them. I bought this case. This is the Spigen Cryo Armor case, and it's got all this cool ventilation, these little tiles on the back that have little openings, and it's designed for optimum and maximum airflow. So if you're into playing games or if you're doing anything that's intensive, if your phone ever does warm up on you, there's actually like a graphite panel inside of there as well. Graphite, I don't think it's graphene, I think it's graphite. It helps wick away some of the heat from it and transfers it off, kind of like an internal heat sink on the case. And I think it looks cool. Like, I really like the way it looks. I wish they had more colors to where this underlying color kind of sticks out more. But it's about $20, $21. I got it on Amazon. This was not sent to me. I just bought this, and I've had a lot of people ask me about it in the videos, so I thought that I would share it. But talking about the phone after the fact, I've been using it for the 2 weeks. You know, my return period is here. I'm in Barcelona, Spain right now. I'm not at home. You can see I'm in a different recording setting yet again. So I'm here for Mobile World Congress, going to look at all the cool stuff that's here. But that's why things look different behind me. And I think this phone's a keeper. If you wanted to get it, if you've been on the fence, if you've been curious about it, if you wanted to see some after the fact conversation, here it is. And I think that it's a fantastic phone. I think it's the best phone that Samsung has ever made, especially when it comes to the typical flat slab cookie cutter, cookie bar, or candy bar, whatever they call it. I don't know why they call it candy bar. Like, I get it because it's like flat and rectangle, but I don't know. I've always hated that terminology for it, candy bar phone. But anyway, I think it's the best standard phone that they've ever made, non-foldable, all that jazz. The Snapdragon 8 Generation 2 is the real deal, probably the best processor they made in years. And it really shows up in a big way. So that's all I've got in this video. 2 thumbs up for me on this one. I like it a lot. Fantastic phone. And hopefully if you've got one, if you've enjoyed it, I want to hear let me know what your experience is. Sound off in the comment section. I'd love to discuss that stuff. And if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.